Welcome to the Learning Commons, which is a new ministry of MCEC. It's a space in which we hope to grow, to learn, and to be inspired as we carry our various roles in the body of Christ, affectionately known as the church. The Learning Commons is a space open for everyone, but at the beginning of its life, it will focus on resources specifically geared for pastors. So welcome to this space. At this point, it's largely virtual and housed on our website at mcec.ca. We know that this is not your first rodeo, so to speak, and we expect that you will use this space in ways you have learned to be helpful to you. But we also want to invite you to look at some different ideas and to experiment as well. To learn more about the Learning Commons, there's a little tab here at the bottom that'll bring you to a PDF, which will have the values, the objectives, and the aspirations of the Learning Commons that you can look at. So what you've been looking at is the homepage for the Learning Commons, and I hope at some point you will take time to look around at things here for you. For the next couple of minutes, I just want to run through a few of these tabs to give you a brief look at what's going on. The event tab is something that you're very familiar with. It's going to reflect what we've usually done at MCEC in terms of giving you a snapshot of the workshops and opportunities of engagement for the coming year. So you can plan the kinds of things that you want to participate in for the coming year and time that you have available. I just want to draw your attention to one of these events, this one, which is called Confession Becomes Practice, Who is God in the Midst of Pandemic? If we go back to the top here, you'll see a relatively new thing here called the guide. The guide is something that we hope to produce annually. You can download it as a PDF there, but what it will hold is a series of questions that we hope will both be encouraging and guiding, I guess is the best word, about some of the things you may wish to look at for the coming year. One of those questions is COVID-19 has changed the way we've been able to participate and engage faith events. What is this teaching us about faith, ministry, and how we see God? So you begin to see how the guiding questions here both encourage us to look at various events and will encourage the development of some events as well for the coming year. We hope the development of the guide will be an opportunity of collaboration in which pastors come together and develop what is the theme for the coming year and how we want to pursue various ideas at this point in the life and ministry of the church together. The purpose of the guide is not to tell, but rather to ask questions and to encourage consideration that may be second nature to you already, but helpful to others at another point on their journey of pastoral development. The third tab is called Ministry Portfolio. Many of you will have, as part of your files, many topics that you've already covered. The ministry portfolio is meant to be an intentional way of keeping data so you can see where you have been and hopefully help you navigate where you are going. So possibly your files look a little like mine, in which you have a file of old MLI responses that you've generated along the way, another file of books you've read and some of the notes of importance, and yet another file of marriages that you have officiated at, or baptismal classes, lists of people that have been involved. Some of you who are really organized have taken pictures of these events and people. So after 30 years, you can look through your files and review some very interesting times and events. Times when God has encouraged you to learn new things and even to relearn some things along the way. So what many of us have done as a matter of not wanting to throw anything away has become an important part of our story. The ministry portfolio is an intentional way of doing that together with some sense of how is opportunities to reflect on what God is doing in those various events. So we've tried to be helpful to get you along that way of organizing your data so you can actually think about it and reflect on it. So there's a PDF which explains this a bit more, as well as a PDF on some file folder suggestions that you may wish to create, or you can download a zip folder which has the whole file tree created for you, and you can simply populate it with data that you have already collected along the way. The ministry portfolio is a great place in which you can house something that we want to encourage you to take a look at, which is the competency examen. If we go to this page, you can see that it holds a document which is an invitation for you to take an appreciative inquiry look at who you are and how God has been at work in your life. And so you're invited with gratitude to review how God has been working in these 6 areas of your life at this point in your journey, to reflect on that work that God is doing, and to also think about how God might be calling you to next steps. This is meant to be encouraging. It's meant to be a place of gratitude, a place where we can see God at work in our experience. So if we could do this at least annually, the PDFs just maybe monthly, as a way to be intentional about thinking about our growth and development as pastors. The final tab I want you to quickly share with you is the Display Resource Center. This is a space that we hope will be a key resource for you, a space in which our partners are invited to participate, to share resources that they are developing and opportunities in which you can engage. The resource tab will be curated resources for you to look at, and we hope will be keyed into specific things that are of importance at this time of ministry. So you'll see right now, with front and center, are resources around reopening and pandemic preparedness, which are of significant importance to us at this point in ministry. Thank you for taking a few minutes to look around in the MCEC Learning Commons. We hope this is a great space for all of us to learn together and to be inspired by what God is doing. Thanks.